Hi, Nicholas here, and welcome to the Akousunesis method. Today I'm going to start a brand new series for complete beginners with absolutely no prerequisites. Okay, so if this is the first time you've ever touched a piano before, there'll be no prerequisites for this. And we're going to take it, so whether you're a classical student or someone who wants to start to learn about chords and start to understand the instrument, this is the course for you. Now, if you go to my website and you go to courses up the top here, so I've got beginners. So if you click beginners, we're going to go through this book, which is, it's a very popular book, the John Thomas series. So this is the very first grade. So by doing these exercises, you'll be able to go do the tests in the conservatorium. If that's where you want to go and you want to get graded, we're going to do exercises through this book, but we're going to do it differently than most teachers will teach. So we will go through each exercise. We're not going to talk about you can purchase this book and read it. But we're going to go through each exercise and we're going to break them up. So I've got the first one ready to go, and this is it today. And so we're going to go, if you go to the website and click the sub-menu, beginners, you'll see the very first lesson. So that's today's lesson, okay? So I've taken the first exercise, right? So the sheet music, and with the Akousunesis method, the first thing to know is that we don't use finger numbers in this method. The reason is because we describe our music with the language of intervals. And intervals will become our foundation to understand music theory and what we're doing on the piano, and it will help us create multiple memory associations. So our fingers, we're going to name them thumb, index, middle, ring, and pinky for both hands, okay? So we're going to start now. So you're brand new, you've never touched the piano before. I advise you to go buy a piano if you haven't got one, but I won't give any recommendations, but when I started out, I had an upright piano, but there's some very good pianos right now you can buy for under $1,000. Just make sure when you get one, it's got a hammer action. And if you can afford it, spend a little bit more money so you don't get the cheapest stuff. You really need to be spending about, well, I can only speak in Australian dollars, at least 800 Australian dollars. So what's that in American dollars? $400 to get just something with a hammer action. But there's a lot of good pianos out there. But anyway, it's not a piano review video. Let's get moving. This is lesson 1. Okay, so you know nothing about the piano. You've just sat here. All right. So I've got a whole series of courses lessons on my website, but this is for complete beginners, right? So some of my lessons might get a bit technical, so you can move on to those eventually, but let's just start very, very basic, and we won't introduce too much theory at this stage, just the very basics, okay? So the first thing you want to know is that the C major scale, so the piano's built around the C major scale for all the white notes from going from C to C. And it has a sound, right? So all we're going to do today is, so you'll learn how to play your scales in time, in due course. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this first exercise. Of course, the first thing you want to do is learn your scales. And I have a video on the C major scale, and it'll show you all the hand movements. So you can just jump to that. It's lesson 4. All right, so you can jump to that and just at least learn how to play your scales. But let's start now with this exercise book, and the first exercise is Music Land. Okay, so when we look at this piece of music, what we're going to do is the sheet music we have up here, we're not going to be using this as a visual crutch. We're not going to be looking at that and trying to read that. We're trying to reduce visual crutches so our ear can take over. We will be looking at here. So we'll be looking at down here, and we're speaking in the language of intervals. So we're going to understand what these numbers mean, and we're going to be looking at our hands So we look here to work out what we're doing, and then we look down at our hands, and our visual crutch is going to be our hands. But we do not want to look up at sheet music. When we look down at these patterns down here, we see a set of intervals which represents the melody. Now there's no timing. We're not going to, in the Akousunesis method, we don't focus on trying to get timing right, because timing is something that will come naturally. And when you focus on timing, you can't concentrate on getting the actual notes right. So if you get the notes right first, timing will just come naturally. Right, so we're not going to worry about any of the timing information. So the notation is just used to work out what we're doing. Then we translate it all to the Akousunesis method with the intervals over the chords. And then we work from there. So we can see straight away we have a chord C. So a triad. So we have the notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Back to 1. So we have the C major scale. So a triad is the intervals 1, 3 and 5, with both hands 1, 3 and 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5. So this exercise, we just line up on every finger, and we're not moving any of the hands off this position. We're not going up to 6, 7 and 1. So, and this exercise will introduce, we'll have 4 in there, interval number 4, which is down here, right? So it goes 3, 4, 5 and then 1. So the right hand goes, RM means right middle, ring, pinky and thumb. 3, 4, 5 and 1. 3, 4, 5. So this is the right hand, and down here's the left hand. You'll notice also that the left hand comes down. We always practice right hand first, then left, then right, and then join them together. But you'll notice what's happening here is that they both come down together, and this plays 2 notes while this plays only 1 note. Like that. That's the first little section there. But what we're going to do is looking down, and we're going to practice looking down, and we go 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And then on the second bit it goes 5, 1. So it goes 1, 3, 5, 1. And then on the second bit with the right hand we're 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3. And we look down, look at our hands. Right? Never look at notation. Right? Notation isn't how we hear music. We hear music through relative pitch movement, and notation is absolute notes on a staff where you have to do a translation. Notation is good for archiving music, and it's a quantized system, meaning that everything's precise to timing. And it's not how a composer would have played the original piece. They write it down so other people can study it and play from that. But when you're playing, you put your own emotion and feel into it. And to get these timings exactly on beat is something that it's fine if you're in a rock band and you've got a lot of drums and going, and of course you need to play in time. And but when we're playing a piano, right, the timing will come naturally and we don't need to focus on it. All right, so let's go back to this. So start again. So we want you to put every hand, right, on every note, right, and just practice doing this for now. Just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can just practice doing them together as well. And go about this speed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. So you can do a lot of these exercises to get your fingers moving. But with this piece here, we've got, so we're looking over here, 3, 4, 5, 1. So 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1. Now with the feel and all the emotion and the timing, right? Try not to, the way it's written up here, right, is how they want you to play it. But also you want to experiment too, to put your own sort of rhythm into it, feel with it. 3, 4, 5, 1. 3, 4, 5, 1. And so we're trying to get these both hands coordinated. And when you're a beginner, that's always difficult to get your right and your left coordinated. So you always just focus on what you're doing here. Understand what the numbers now. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Just all the white notes, right? 3, 4, 5, 1. And again, we're talking about intervals here, not finger numbers, right? Again, you also want to get used to, middle. Looking at your hand and go middle ring, pinky ring, because that takes a while to get used to just saying that too. So the more you do of something, the better your brain wires itself to do it, right? So and until you start to do it, your brain won't wire itself. You might look at your hand and go, yeah, I know that's a middle finger, I know that's the ring, and I know that's the thumb. But putting it down and playing and recognising it all in one go is a different thing altogether. So you've got to focus on what you're doing down here. So one thing is the intervals, 2 are the fingers, right? Thumb, middle, right? Index, ring, pinky, index. And when you say things, it's always clumsy to say things. We're eventually going from our ears to our hands without having to say it. But when we're learning something, we say it so we can learn it, right? So we've looked at the first one. Now look at the second line. It goes 2, 4, 3. And we want to look at what's similar and what's different of all this. So we can see this block here is the same as the bottom block. So we don't have to learn that if we've learned that, right? This block is going 2, 4, 3, and this is going 2, 3, 1, right? So it's a bit different, and this is going 4, 5, 3, and that's going 5, 1. So it's a bit different, these two, okay? So we'll look at this one and we'll look at that, and that's just the same as the top one, right? So let's look at this one, 2, 4, 3. Well, if your finger's on every hand, the interval 2, 4, 3, 2. So it's skipping, going up and coming down, right? 3, 4. So 2, 4, 3, and that's just going 5, right? So it's 2, 4, 3, just like that. And go slowly. So it's going 5, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. And do that a few times before you go 3, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3. And you can mix up the rhythm a bit too. So we'll be learning rhythm, but we're not going to be learning to follow rhythm. We're going to be learning to feel rhythm. There's a big difference. Trying to get some rhythm right and being able to hear the rhythm, the more songs you listen to work out, the more it develops your rhythm. Because in this method, we'll be listening a lot and working out songs from what we hear and working out our own melodies. But this is a beginner's course. These are for people who want to go through the classical system, and they want to do that, but they wanted an edge. They want a bit of an edge over other classical students because they're going to work out the theory and how you use the theory in your real-time playing. Rather than keeping theory over there and just, that theory's there, now let's just read notes. We're not doing it like that. The theory is completely instrumental to what we're doing. Excuse the pun, but it's vital to what we're doing, and we rely on the theory to learn. Right? We're not relying on visual crutches, reading notation. So let's look at that last bit now. The last bit is just, so if we look at the top bit here, we had a 2, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. So straight from that to that. You can, if I'm playing from here, this bar to this bar, you can really hear how it's homing away, coming home. 2, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. But the left hand is going 5, 1, and then over here it's going 1, 3, and then it's going 4, 5, 3. It sort of ends, but it's not a coming home. It sort of ends there, and it's relying on the top line, right? So it's relying on 2, 2, 3, 1, and it's landing like that. So it's not landing on both ones, which would be a really coming home. It's sort of landing on we call this a slash chord. When you have a different note at the bass, other than the notes, we call that a slash chord. But you don't need to know that now. But any one of these notes in the chord of C, you can play any one of these notes going up and down the piano. So this whole piece, this simple first piece you've also learnt a chord. You've learnt the triad C, right? And that triad C can be played any way you want it. And we can lift off fingers, lift off another finger, and we can play that, right? When we lift off notes on the bass like that, right, it's still the chord C. Even though there's a bass note now is a different note, it's E. It's still one of the notes in the triad, right? And we have G at the bass, still a note in the triad. But now, so the idea here is you're a beginner, you're getting your fingers moving, you want to go down the classical path, if that's what you want to go down there and go to the conservatoriums. The beginners course here will take you through all that and take you to the classes. Well, you can take yourself to the classes. I'm not taking you. You take yourself to the classes, and you have to do each, pass their test for each one of these exercises. But you'll be a step ahead, because with this course, you not only know the piece, you know a chord. And I'm going to teach you a trick now, which we're going to do in composition. When you're looking down, you know all the notes now. If you don't know the notes, the name of the notes, and you're completely new here, I've got lesson 1 on my channel, and it just shows you how to memorize all your notes. It shows you a technique to memorize your notes. So once you know your notes, you need to know your notes so you can identify chords. That's the first step. You don't have to jump into intervals. It's probably a bit tricky to jump in if you're a complete beginner, but you already know the basic intervals here, right? And in the key of C, because all the numbers get reset when we go into different chords, but we're only on the key of C here, right? We're only in the key of one chord, C. But I want you to look at all the notes, C, E, and G, and I want you to just scan them up and down the piano and just locate where they are. And I'm going to give you a constraint, meaning that you only can play those notes. You're not playing any other notes, right? We're not playing the 4 up here. We're not playing 4 or 2. We're not putting those in. I just want you to roll your fingers up and down. And if you can reach that high with your little pinky, you can do that. So what we're doing now is we're spreading that hand out. See, we've got 1, thumb on 1, middle on 3, pinky on 5. So we're going a little bit beyond now this music land, right? So I might do that with the courses, but we'll see. If no one's watching till that point on my videos, I might just cut this out. But if people are watching up to this point, I'll always give you a little tip to just extend what you're doing with the exercise. But so one of the techniques is just to get that, spread that hand up. Middle now is on 5, pinky's on 1. All right? We're still playing every note, and I want you to do rolling. So you can start your rolling with keeping your hands on the 5 too. Just roll. And you can put your pedal down sometimes. And then start scanning up. And start looking. Now this might seem a bit advanced, but you're not concentrating. This is what you're not doing, and you've got to get this in your head. You're not concentrating to try to get something correct. This is one of the big problems with when you're trying to learn music. You're learning to try to get something correct. And that's the big problem with notation is you see the notation and the teachers are trying to get it correct. It all comes from the idea of when you go to school, you're told what to think, not how to think. It's sort of that idea. You're being told how to get things correct. Now, if you want to go to pass all the courses, of course, you've got to play it correctly, right? You've got to play it how it is if you want to go through the system like that. But we can go a little bit beyond that too and start to use our ear a bit more and start to use our emotion and our feel and start, looking down and not trying to get anything right. Forget about trying to get things right. All we're trying to do here is find the notes, find the location of the notes, and the rhythm and timing and the feel will all come. Right? But just focus down on those notes. The C, right, which is the 1, the E, the 3, 3E, up here, 3E. And then now you can just move your hands around. You don't have to fix your fingers to it. As long as you hit the note. And one way to hit the note is what you do, one trick to make sure you hit the notes is you just roll on the notes that you're comfortable with. And the idea is to make it flow as best you can without breaks. Then focus on the note you want to hit. You look down and you go, okay, it's the C I want to hit. So I'm looking at that note, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to set my fingers up to reach that. I'm going to go, and now I'm going to hit it and hold on it, and then come back. Go back to it. And now I'm going to focus on the note one more above it, the E above that. And roll there for a while. Come back to a bass. So you have like a homing point, a homing place, and then you roll up and come back to the home place. And then you focus. So you scan, you focus your attention of where you want to go, then you go there, and then you come back to the home. And just roll. And just roll like that. So the idea is now you're developing a flow and a rhythm yourself, natural, and you're not trying to do it, right? You're not trying. That's the big difference. There's a huge difference. When teachers will get you to get a metronome, toss that metronome and just toss it off a cliff, right? You don't use a metronome. It's the worst thing you could do. Don't use a metronome because we want timing to come naturally. It's very, very important. And just get it flowing. We've got to find the notes first, and then the timing will come. All right, that's the first lesson. So it went a bit beyond Music Land, but Music Land is your first one. Everything's on my website, and you can just go to my website, and I'll go through the book. So again, when you go to the home page, right, you'll see the menu up here. You can have a look at the book by just clicking beginners. If you just click beginners and not drag down right, you can have a look. There's a PDF, take you to the page. And you can get a heads up by just, before I do the next video. I'll see how this video goes. Before I do the next video, you can just have a look yourself. So when you come to the video, it'll be a bit easier. So what I'll do in the videos, I'll take this and break them all into chords. Now we're in the key of C in most of these, so that's not going to get too exciting. But we might come out of key somewhere, I don't know. They're in the key of C, all of these. Nothing comes out. What you're trying to do with grade 1 is get your fingers moving. You do have to recognise notes, right? Because you're going to do these translations yourself. So by doing the translation yourself, so when we come back up to courses, beginners, click up here, go back to grade 1. So this will be each exercise, 1, 2, 3, corresponding to the book, right? By you developing this yourself, that is the best way you're going to learn the music anyway, to read the music, the notes, by you just looking at the notes and then translating it. But never use this as a crutch to learn. Always translate it and work from that and work from intervals. All right, that's the end, and I'll see you in the next exercise of this beginners series. All right, thanks for watching.